In this video, I want to talk about the tools available on the Stage Analysis website for members and give new members a way to obviously acclimate themselves once they join. So start off with when you first come into the website, you come in on the landing page here, which will be the members dashboard. See, at the moment we've currently got this panel here that's just a color-coded panel that shows whether it's the environment is positive, neutral, or negative. So just traffic light systems. Orange at the moment means we're neutral. If it goes red, then it's more negative, and if it goes green, then it's more positive. So as I said, just a visual look. Over here to the right, you can manage your subscription. So just clicking through to that button where you can either upgrade your subscription if you're on a monthly to a quarterly or an annual, or you can cancel at any point using that. It's very simple and very quick. So you can search through here, go through to individual charts, just type the ticker and it will take you through to the individual stock page. So on the stock page here, you can see the weekly chart. We've got the Mansfield relative strength below here. So this is the Mansfield relative strength, so which is unflattened. We use the unflattened version on the Stage Analysis website, so as it gives extra context depending on the angle of the moving average. So it uses a 52-week moving average with the stock divided by the S&P 500. So that gives us a consistent measure throughout any kind of asset class that we look at, as you can always look at that number and it will tell you how strong it is relative to what you're comparing it against. So also on this page we have the SATA score at the bottom down here. So this is the Stage Analysis technical attribute score, so which goes from a score of 0 to 10 and basically measures 10 of the key characteristics that we look for in the Stage Analysis method for when a stock is in stage 2. So your typical stage 2 stock will have 6 or greater of these, normally 7 or greater, but starts at around the 6 point. So you'll see these periods through here when it's on a 6 or above, it tends to be in a stage 2 period. So it's just an additional technical measure to go along with the stage. So you can see at the moment, although we have a SATA score of 7 over here in this panel down the bottom, which shows the last 5 weeks scores. So you can see it's on a current 7. We're actually in stage 3 currently, as we've been going sideways. And you can see from when you hover over the final bar here, it also highlights the stage 2 level and the stage 4 level that it would need to move through in order to move back from stage 3 to back to 2 again, or back down into 4. So currently, although we're in a relatively strong technical position, we've got 7 of the 10 characteristics that we look for in stage 2. We are currently in stage 3, going sideways, just sitting above the 10-week moving average there and still rising 30-week moving average, but it's been tightening up within this range now for the last couple of months. So that's one way that you can use that data on the chart here. This panel here on the side shows you the sector, industry, sub-industry, and the exchange of the stock. So you can click on these. You'll see if you hover over these, you can click on them and it will open up a side panel which then shows you the stock relative to its current sub-industry here. So this is the sub-industry panel. Shows it highlighted how it's performing relative to the rest of its sub-industry. So these stocks are slightly better at the moment in terms of relative strength from SATA score, but Apple is one of the leading stocks in its group at the moment. But you can see the technology, hardware, storage and peripherals group is going sideways in stage 3 at the moment here. So we can actually move from this page onto a more detailed sub-industry page as well. So if you click on the heading up here, that takes you through to the sub-industry page where you've got a weekly chart which you can go back and forwards through timing. You can see we're in stage 3 at the moment. It has 2 panels below that show the market breadth. So we've got the Stage Analysis technical attribute scores of 6 or higher percentages. So you can see this is just sitting in the mid 30% range at the moment, and the percentage of stocks above their 30-week moving average, which you can see has dropped off over the last few weeks in this group. And then the individual stocks ordered by their market cap at the moment. So you can switch this round to be by relative strength, by SATA score, and you can go back to the screener page and find these and get more detailed information on the individual stocks. So for example, if you then went back to the screener page and looked for the technology, hardware and peripherals group here, so we go into the stock screener, then come to the sub industry up here, so just highlight that. So if you go click into this panel here and then you search for that technology, we were just looking for there, technology, hardware, storage and peripherals, you can see now you can actually get the individual stocks. So if we take that off of market cap and order it by relative strength and SATA score, this shows you it in order of strength. So you can change the panels on here. We can go to focus view quickly, so which then tells you how long it's been since it's been in stage 2, how many weeks it's been in stage 2, etc. There's lots to go through. I'll go through that in a minute when we come back to the screener, but that's another quick way that you can get to obviously this page when you're looking for individual stocks compared to their actual sub industry. So coming back out of here, back into the stock page, as I said, you've got these for all of that, the industry as well and the sector. So you can see the chart for how the sector's performing as well. And this box here, the top one that says ticker, so if you click on this, you can change this to any stock that you want. So if we wanted to look at Tesla, then that will take you through to the Tesla page, and similarly you've then got the charts and group information for those available very easily on the page, and you can see obviously how it's performing at stage 4 level, which it tested at the end of last week here. So right, let's go back. So from here I wanted to go back to the screener. So let's reset the screener. So back to where we are, there's a normal point. So when you first come into the stage analysis screener page, you'll be greeted by the stocks in order of strength. So all of the stocks at the moment and ETFs, so we've included a number of ETFs, a few hundred or so of the more liquid ETFs in the mix at the moment, which I'm continuing to build out gradually. So, but there's over 5,000 stocks. So if we just change it to stocks, we've got 5,096 stocks at the moment from the US market here. So if we look at this in terms of on market cap, so if we scroll along over here, so if you pull and drag and go sideways, you can scroll along. So if we click on the headings, you can change it to market cap. So you click on that twice, you flick, you can see we've got the largest market cap there, and then we've got Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft, Amazon, etc. And from this area you can see their stage, their SATA score, the score change, amount of relative strength, the relative strength change. And so if we go into focus mode over here, so we go full screen, be able to see that a little bit more easily. So if we scroll along through, you can see we've got the last stage 2 price, got percent since stage 2, the weeks since it was at the stage 2A point. So this is the point where it breaks out into stage 2 for the first time, but it can still go back to 1, or it could move to, while it's been in stage 2 for a little while, it could have moved into 3 briefly and made a continuation. So this measures the point since it was last at stage 2A. And then, so for example, in Apple's case here, we've got 42 weeks currently since it was last at stage 2A. It's currently in stage 3. So the next stage 2 price is at 255.31, which you can see here. So you can double click on these to highlight the rows, which gives it a little bit more focus. So percent to stage 2 level at the moment, it needs to move another 5.57% currently in order to get back to stage 2 again. And at the moment, because of where it is, it doesn't have a last stage 4 price, because the last stage was in stage 2. So it's gone from stage 2 to stage 3. So it doesn't have a last stage 4 price showing, because it's still within that stage since stage 2A function. So that will then flip when it moves to the next 4A, and you will show you the last stage 4 price, as we can see below on Nvidia here. And we can see the percent since stage 4, which is currently slightly above the stage 4 level as it's moved. Although it dipped into stage 4A, it reversed back up and made a spring back into stage 3. So you can see it's actually above the stage 4 level at the moment, but obviously since the last 4A, it's 1.07% above that currently. So next stage 4 point would be a 120.07 for this at the moment. So it can continuing to go along. We've got more features along here and columns, and there's going to be many more added in the coming weeks and months. It's been a long time since I last did a how to use the screener video, so a lot has changed in here at the moment. So we've got many columns that you can activate. These are the ones that I highlight by default at the moment. So you've got your 10-week moving average to percent to the 10-week MA, 30-week, percent to the 30-week, 40-week, percent to the 40-week MA. So there are 3 major moving averages. The weekly closing range, so that's where the candlestick closed on the week in terms of its range. So 38% means it closed in a weak position, whereas something at 95% means it closed near the top of its bar. So we've got the ATR 10-week, so it shows the average true range of the stock over the last 10 weeks and the percentage of that in the ATR percent 10-week, so how much it moves on an average week. So for example, Apple at the top here moves 5.57% on average in the last 10 weeks. So whereas we've also got average volume, so 227 million. So this is a 10-week average, and relative volume, which shows how much the previous week the current week or the that it is. So it was just over 1 times the average weekly volume and then market cap and stock. So if we come out of focus mode at the bottom here by clicking exit focus mode, so you can come back to the normal screener here, and then we've got all of the current filters, of which these continue to grow. So anyone that watched previous videos from back in last year, we only had 3 or 4 filters initially, and so there's another 10 or more being added just in the next few weeks to this, and so it's starting to get a little bit clogged up in terms of how many filters. So I am going to need to redesign how the filters look and reorganize certain bits, so it will probably, by the time you're watching this video, look different to how it does currently. But this is as of the time of watching, 3rd of March, I think we are at the moment. So this is how the filters are at the moment. So if we look at the top here, starting from the top left, we have the global presets. So these are the presets that everybody gets. So if I highlight this section here, so if you click on this, it shows some presets of filters that I've set up for you to make it easy for you to potentially find stocks at certain points. So for example, if you're looking for stocks moving into stage 2, they've had a stage change, then stage 2 transition or stage 2 breakout would be the ones you're looking for. So if you click on stage 2 transition, for example, you get the little spinny wheel as it loads. So it's loaded up the stocks in stage 2A, in 2 and 2B. So that means 2A is the first week in stage 2, 2 is just ordinary stage 2 when it's still above its 10-week moving average, and 2B is when it's been in stage 2 for 3 quarters or more. So we also got stage changed with this one. So if you click on stage changed here, you've got the options of changed, unchanged, failed breakouts and breakdowns. So this, when we're looking for stage 2 moves from stage 1 or stage 4 into stage 2, then we want to use stage changed, as if you don't have that selected, you'll get all of the stage 2s at that point. So we've got 273 in 2A, 2 and 2B, but we want those that changed from 1 or 4 in the previous week. So you use stage changed. Then that takes that down to currently just 45 stocks here. Market cap is also an important one here. So we normally get rid of, by default, you want to get rid of anything under 300 million unless you like to trade those micro cap stocks. But for the most part, you want to have the more liquid stocks, so you can use the various options in here to filter out. So average volume over here tend to start with 1.5 million on an average week. So this is average weekly volume, so over a 10-week period. So we've got 1.5 million on average, which is 300k shares a day. I am adding in the next couple of weeks on here total dollar volume, and we also have average dollar volume and things like that as well. So they will give us some different aspects to look at, as well as just straight volume here. weekly closing range here. Typically when you're looking for a stage 2 transition, you want to have a strong close. I tend to default to upper quarter of the bar, so that's what the preset is, but you can alter that down here in the various presets. You only want over 50%, over 60%, etc., to fine tune it a little bit more. So over 50% will give us a few more results in there. So that's one, and you can then switch from different filters through here. So that's your stage 2 transitions at the moment. Like, so if we go into Orgo here, you can see it was a huge move on that biotech. Arlo had a stage 2 breakout attempt through here last week. So back out of that, a few others. What we Berkshire Hathaway was a continuation in stage 2B. So you see a continuation to new highs. So the change with these, so brown and brown here, also a continuation. You can see down here moving from stage 1 to stage 2B again as it moved, or stage 1 free. So it was in free at this point, moving back into stage 2 again. So when you've got with the presets, there's many different options in here. One of my favorite ones is the top one of when you're looking for stocks before they've moved into stage 2. So we call it the approaching stage 2 level, less than 0.5 ATR to the breakout level, basically. So if we change this, you get the spinny wheel. You see we've now got percent to stage change here, so this one here, and we're using 0.5 times ATR to stage 2. You can tighten that up even further to 0.25. So, or you can use a percentage value, only 1 or 2% or 5% to stage 2, for example, and the opposite for stage 4 down here as well. So with this, we'll see if we click into a couple of these. But there, when I hover over the level, we're very close to the potential new stage 2 level here. This one very tight, so just sitting right underneath that level. So you'll tend to find stocks either in stage 1 or stage 3 that are approaching the stage 2 level of that. And as I said, you can get even tighter. So taking it down here to 0.25 times ATR. So if I click on some of these, so where are we? Don't want to reach, just waste connections here. You can see that level there, 190, and we're currently just sitting right underneath that, whereas the stage 4 level is all the way down here at 171. So it's a way to look for the potential transition points really easily. So there's multiple other filters through here. You're looking for springs in the current week, so, or springs that have happened in the last 4 weeks. So for example, if I click on springs that have happened in the last 4 weeks here, so we're excluding with this. So we've used the drop down filter here, include, exclude. So we've ticked exclude, and then we've ticked 4A, 4 minus, B and B minus. So that way you get rid of all of the stage 4 stocks, and we're only looking at the stage 1 or 3 stocks here, and there might be the odd stage 2 stock in there still, but with this failed spring, you tend to gonna be back into stage 3 periods. So it's normally a failed stage 4 breakdown that's coming back into stage 3. But sometimes they spring very strongly, and you might have already moved straight back up into stage 2 again. So weeks in stage, so less than 4 weeks through there as well, it helps with that. So if we click on some of these, you can see the spring attempt last week in that one. Let's open a couple of these. So this one within the last 4 weeks, so it dropped down below that point through here and then has sprung back up again strongly. So this one was only last week, this one was only last week, and this one was only last week. So you can, a way to find stocks with failed springs, or you can use the current week spring, and there's many other options in the presets here. So if we click the reset button over here, takes a little bit minute, probably put the spinny wheel back on that by the time you look at this again, so as it gives a little bit more feedback of what it's doing. So let's go through some of these filters in a little bit more detail at the top here. So you've got that's the global presets, you've got my presets, so these are ones that you save yourself. So this second filter here, all of these buttons are related to that. So for example, if I was just looking at, I wanted stage 2As we're looking at strong ones in there. They've got positive change on the week, and they've what else are we going to do? They've got a strong SATA score, so they want them to be above their 4-week moving average, etc. If you've got multiple filters set, instead of having to click these each time and then come back into it, you can click the Save Filters button up here. So click on that. Let's just call this something, test 1, and press return. Press OK. And now this is then saved in your presets here. So if I click on this, it will reload the page with those filters. So anytime I'm on something else and then come back to that again. So this is another one that I've got where I'm excluding some sectors. So come back to the test here. You'll always be able to go back and get that anytime, and but the data has been updated. So each day you can just come in, click on your preset and go straight to that, or click on a global preset and go to that. You can even edit the global presets. You can use them as a starting point. So one of the ones that we're going to be having soon, so the stage 2 breakout here, for example, I'm going to be adding, at the moment we've only got breakouts and breakdowns and range based on the 13-week closes. So I'm adding 4-week, 13-week, 26-week and 52-week breakouts and breakdowns, as well as with closing prices and with high-low prices as well. So there's going to be a lot more features in there. So you might be able to change that to a different preference, for example, or you might want to add the positive change, or certain pricing, you only want stocks over $100, etc., etc. You can then save that, call it a name, again, test 2, whatever. So you can call it whatever when you first start. You don't have to get the name perfect, because then once you've saved that, like I said, you can reload that anytime that you want. And if you click on the edit button there, so back to the screen here, so click on that edit button just up here, takes you in here. We can then rename this to whatever we want. So this is stage 2 breakouts. All right. So whatever you want to call it, and then the buttons, these 2 buttons appear as you're typing. You can also remove your filters as well. So if you do that, press save changes and come back, you can see that's now saved in here. So at the moment it's done in alphabetical order, but by the time you watch this video, potentially you will have the opportunity to reorder those to whatever you want as well. So that's something else I'm working on, as well as adding a description into this section too, so that you can not have to have overly complex names and just have a deeper description by the side of it. So that's the presets. Let me come back out of that at the moment. So the next one down here, stocks and ETFs. So this just simply, if you only want to look at stocks, just click on that. You can see showing 1 to 100 of 5,096. You only want to look at ETFs. You can see that the ETFs in order of strength as currently with the video. That's what we've got at the moment. So that's those. Let me come back to here. Next one is chart lists. So if we come down into chart lists here, you see we have the major indexes first at the top of the panel. So when you first load this chart lists, the website, you won't have any of these set, as these are your personal chart lists which you add elsewhere on the website. So over here on the more button up here, there's a chart list button. So if we come into this, when you first land on this page, you get basically an empty table. You just have the list name and actions and nothing in it. So these are my custom lists that I've added. So all you've got to do is click new list, and then in here you can add whatever you want to call it. So let's just call this one test 3. So Apple, Tesla, Google, whatever you want in there. Click save watch list, and then you can see it loads in here. You can then, from here, you can edit these, you can delete, you can add tickers. So I've got my lists saved, and if you come back to the screener now, and then we go back to the chart list button here, you'll see that test 3 is now loaded, and we can then pull that in, which then gives us our stages, the various metrics that we look for, last stage 2 price, last stage 4 price, various other levels that we're looking for on that. So that's a way you can create your own custom chart lists, your watch lists, your portfolio, whatever you want to save in the chart lists, which you can then have in the screener and then look for changes in that. So for example, I have precious metals saved here, my own custom list, as it comes in a bunch of different ones with silver, gold, diversified metals and minings, etc. And then with this, you can then use the other filters. How many had a stage change this week, for example? Just mag, HMY and gold. So if I click into these, you see these changed this week, 2B back to 3. And this one dropped off from 2 into stage 3, and this one also dropped it back from 2A back into stage 1 here. So you can quickly use those to filter and with your own portfolios. So that's really, really useful. The next filters through here are the sector, industry and sub-industry filters. So with these, if you're only looking for consumer discretionary stocks or you're only looking for energy stocks, etc., you can just tick any of these, or you can tick multiple. As I said, you can have consumer discretionary, staples, energy, etc., and then they will all appear in the list. The little minus button here clears that out again. We've got include and exclude options. So the majority of the time I use this as an exclude, so as I'm not really interested in real estate stocks, for example. So if you do tick it to exclude, then scroll down and get rid of real estate stocks. So for example, when I'm looking at, if I'm looking at stage 2A breakouts for the week, then I generally don't want to see any real estate stocks. So you can see at the moment we've got 44 entries here. So if I go exclude and real estate, that's already got rid of 6 stocks that I'm not really interested in. I don't really that interested in financials, and I'm not really that interested in energy. So as well as with the sub-industry over here, I also go with exclude, and I generally exclude biotechnology. So you can see, and that's now taken us down to 23 stocks straight away. You can then go to close in the upper quarter of the bar, average volume at a certain level. So, and then even if you're later in the week, relative volume over 1 times here, and then that gets you down to a more manageable list to quickly go through. When you've got these lists, you can quickly export them or save them. So if you click save list, you can save it as a new watch list, and then that will come up in your chart list column, or you can export and it will give you a ticker list. You can click copy, and then that will copy it to your clipboard, and then you can jump off to TradingView, stock charts, wherever, and create a new list on there in order to use the tickers on live charts. So I find that really, really useful when I'm building my watch lists and going quickly through the live charts. So that's the sectors, the industries, and the sub-industries. You can obviously select, you only want to see aerospace stocks, or if you've got a broader industry here, you were looking at automobiles, you'll see in the sub-industries there's only 2 automobile groups. So you're only looking for motorcycle manufacturers, there's only a few stocks in those, or you were looking for the automobile manufacturers, or you're looking for all of them. So it's a way that you can quickly filter down with that. This final ticker, final filter at the end of the row here is called the GICS RS. So this is the relative strength of these sectors, industries and sub-industries. So the top is sub-industry, so you can get the top 10% of the sub-industries that week. So by here, so if you select that, this gives you the top. There's 160 odd, 163 at the moment, so you get 15 or 16 different sub-industries within here. So if I click on this at the moment, communications equipment, you'll see there's a lot of those. Consumer electronics, diversified financial services, educational services, heavy electrical equipment. Next page. So you can see if we go through those at the moment, we've got 395 results as a starting point there, and that they're the strongest sectors at the moment. So which, if you come to the relative strength page up here, so and go to sub-industries, they are these top 15 or top 16 groups at the moment. So that's the only area you'd be getting stocks for if you use that filter. You can also do the 1 week change to see what's moving on the week, the at the bottom end for anything reversing. So the same with industry and the same with sector. So that's a really useful filter for the forest to the trees approach. Next row is all about the stages. So it's got the stage analysis technical attribute scores, and we've got the stages itself via the substages. So on the website we use the 11 of the substages currently. So there are 36 substages in total that Stan obviously came up with the plus and the minus levels, etc. So I tried to condense that down to a more usable amount, so that it's obviously gives us variation in terms of, so we can tell where a stock is within the stage, but not getting too far down the rabbit hole, as it can get very, very difficult to, when you've got stuff that's a 3A plus or etc. People just don't understand what they mean. So I've kept it very simple. I've changed it so that 2A, instead of being a period, is just a single week. So 2A is literally the transition from stage 1 into stage 2 for the first time. Same with 4A, that's the transition from stage 3 into stage 4 for the first week. So after that, it immediately moves to stage 2. So stage 2 is just your normal stage 2, and when it's above the 10-week moving average, when you add a 2 minus, it just means it's below the 10-week moving average in stage 2. Stage 2B means it's been in stage 2 for 3 quarters or more, so 39 weeks or higher, whereas 2B minus means it's been in stage 2 for 39 weeks or more, with being also below the 10-week moving average at the same time, but still in late stage 2. And 1-3 is the stage 1 and 3 as a single stage. And so I've got rid of the sub-stages with these. These are just neutral periods in the market. So they're very, very similar technically. So, and often stage 3 turns into a continuation, and stage 1 often turns into a continuation lower in stage 4. So there's many times where it's actually just describing them as a neutral period is much more useful, I've found. So combine those into a single 1-3, and then the opposite with stage 4. First week is 4A, normal stage 4, minus is when it's below the 10-week moving average, 4B is when it's 39 weeks or more in stage 4, and B minus means it's been in 39 weeks or more and it's reversed back above its 10-week moving average. So they are the sub-stages, so you can use any of those to obviously see where your stock is in its stage journey. If you're just looking for stage 2, you want to select all of these. So that then gives you all of the stocks currently in stage 2, in this case including the ETFs. There's 1645 at the moment, and then you can use the other filters to filter those down from there, and the same with stage 4, etc. So we can see these stages on one of our separate pages as a grouping. So if you go to market breadth and go to stages summary over here, so you can see we've got all of the stages separated out as the major stages and as the sub stages down the bottom here, and by market cap. So currently we've got 61.1% of the mega cap stocks, those with 200 billion or more of market cap, are still in stage 2 of some description. So they're in any one of these stages here. So which you can then, if you come down to the sub stages, you can see the breakdown of that. You can see the majority are currently in stage 2B, which is late stage 2, so more than 3 quarters since they moved into 2A. So whereas at the other end of the scale, the smaller cap stocks is more weighted towards stage 4 currently. So you can come here at any time and get a breakdown of how the market is doing with that. So we come back into the screener. So the next one, very important one, is stage change. So with this, So you want to see when it's changing from one stage to another. So we've got sub-stage changes. So if it's moved from 2A to 2 or 2 to 2 minus, etc., you can use the sub-stage change. But for the most part, you'll be using stage change, which these are the broader changes. So when it's moved from 4, 1, 3, or to 2, etc. So there's only from the 4 major stages. So we click stage change, you'll see there's only 674 stocks on the week had a stage change during the week from a major stage into from 1 to stage 2, etc., or from 3 down to 4, or from 1 to jumping straight up into something else. So stage change is very important. We've also got a couple of extra things in here where it's had a failed breakout attempt on the week. So it's attempted to move into stage 2 on the week and then it's reversed back down. So that we call that an up thrust, and it's failed to move down into stage 4 during the week. So that's a spring. So that, again, really, really useful filter for getting individual stocks as they're changing stages. The percent to stage change is a really important one for sorting out watch lists. So generally, you don't want to be looking for stocks after they've already changed stage. There will be periods where they've already moved, but often if you're looking to get into the stocks at the method's ideal entry points, then you need to be looking at them when they're still basing. And so the percent to stage change is a key one for that. So if you're looking for some that are really tight, getting close to their stage 2 level, again, you can use the percent to stage 2, or you can use the ATR to stage 2. I personally prefer the ATR level, as every stock has its own individual volatility. So with that, you can then use that as a starting point and then add some extra filters in order to take that number down. So with just 0.5 times ATR to stage 2, we've got 161 entries. So with that preset I set at the start up here, or my own personal one that I've got here that excludes some of the sectors as well, that immediately takes that down to a more manageable level. We've only got 13 to look at now. Once you start excluding some bits, adding the market cap, showing where it is in the bar on the week and some average volume, etc. So 161 down to just 13 makes that a lot more manageable to go through those names either on the site or taking them off to a separate watch list elsewhere. So that's the percent to stage change. Next one up is SATA score. So this is broken down into either the strong, which is 6 to 10 range, neutral, which is the 4 and 5 range, or weak, which is the 0 to 3 range. So as I said previously, strong tends to be in stage 2. Generally 7 and above tends to be stage 2. You still find a lot of stocks in stage 3, etc., and stage 1 that have scores of 6 when they're near the upper end of the panel. You will get some higher scores as well within those stages, so it doesn't necessarily mean that it's in stage 2 if it's got a SATA score of 8, but it is much more likely because it means it's got 8 of the 10 characteristics that we look for in stage 2. So if that makes sense. Whereas when you're in stage 2 and it declines, you'll tend to get moves back into the neutral period and occasionally to the upper end of the weak range, but rarely. It's more times it will come off from a strong score and drop back to neutral before reversing back to a strong score again. So we can also look at SATA change. So this week we can see percent, either just those that have a positive SATA score, those that were negative, those that had a change to the strong, so they went from a score of less than 6 to a 6 or above. So, and then this is ordered in terms of strength on here. So, and you've got various other options through that. So that one is also very useful. Next row. So through this row, we've got Mansfield relative strength, market cap, weeks in stage, average volume, and relative volume currently. So Mansfield RS is very straightforward. You've either got you're outperforming the S&P 500, you're underperforming, or you're just crossing above or below the relative strength 0 line. So positive RS just gives us the stronger stocks. So cross above the 0 line is a major one. So this will show you those. If I open a couple of these, Again, this is a big jump, but you can see it just crossed. That one's had a huge jump, whereas they've gone from a negative score to a positive score on that week, and this one's gone from a negative score to a positive score. So it's crossing above the 52-week moving average here is what it shows in terms of the relative strength. So that can help us find, obviously, really stocks very close to their stage 2 level oftentimes. And one of the key factors with the early stage 2 breakout is that we want it to be just transitioning into the relative strength phase as well a lot of the times. That's one of the key characteristics that we look for. Market cap, very straightforward. As I said, plus mini is my starting point for most and on practically all of the presets through there. So if you only use larger cap stocks though, then you want to use plus large, for example, or these ones are more specific and only look at the mega caps, only look at the large caps itself, so excluding the mega caps. So this second section here is more useful, I find, as a starting point. Weeks in stage here, pretty much what you would imagine. So since stage 2A, we've got less than 2 weeks. So if I click on that, 124 stocks that are either moving to stage 2 this week or they moved to stage 2 the week before. So click on these two here, so one's in 2A and one's in 2, so you can see this moved from stage 3 back into 2A again, made a new breakout to new highs here, whereas this one was 2A last week and is now just moving into normal stage 2. So early in stage 2 for that one, for example. So you can use that to look for periods. So where something's broken out into stage 2 recently, in the last 6 weeks, for example, and then add the other filters. So, because often when you're looking for the backup entry point, then that can be especially useful. And then tying that into the percent from their various moving averages as well, which I'll go through in a minute. So overall volume, pretty straightforward, 10-week average volume. So as I said before, use over 1.5 million as a starting point in general. I do mostly. So that gives us stocks that have 300k or more daily average volume. Relative volume is the average, is the relative weekly volume. So this, we're looking at 1 times the 10-week average, for example, here is what a general starting point. But this it doesn't update during the week, which I may have changed by the time you watch this video. So if you're on a Monday and you're looking for something with 1 times the average volume or more, then you might want to use a lower figure, such as 0.25, as by the end of the week, then that would be over 1 if it has strong. Or if you're on a Wednesday, you might be using 0.5, etc. So you need to tailor that a little bit based on the time of the week. The price column filter is pretty straightforward. I've got some presets through here. You're looking for over $100, for example, looking for over 5. So whereas you can have under, you can also have ranges. So you only want stocks with a price of $10 to $20, then that will show you all of them through here. You can also, with this, with the drop downs within, so just close that out a minute, he says. Oh, it's not clearing. All right, you need to clear over here. That's a little bug I found I need to fix on that. So if we come over here and you see the filter here, you can be much more precise. I want all stocks over 23. You can then filter that up and you can see the numbers coming down in the middle over here. So all stocks over 47 or over 51, whatever you wanted with that. So you could change that to under. You can have exactly equals, so there's nothing on 51, for example. At the moment you can see we've got 2 stocks equal 54 currently. So with that, get to that, and then there's, as I said, there's ranges as well. So if you wanted to go from 100 to 600 through here, then that would give you all of the stocks through there. So we change the price through there. It starts at 100 and we go up to 600. So really simple price filter. So don't find a lot of cause for it myself, so generally, but other than just getting for stocks over a certain percentage, so I generally don't look at any stocks under 2 or under 5. So sometimes I use that as a starting point, but for the most part the market cap will get rid of most of those anyway. So next one is percentage change on the week. So this is fairly straightforward. This measures this column here. So it's just the percentage change since the previous week. So for example, we're just looking for a positive change. So that can be really helpful when you're as a quality filter. So you only get stocks that had a positive close on the week when they've had a stage change or when they've moved for a moving average, etc. Or if you're looking for specific, you're looking for everything that had greater than a 4% move on the week, or everything that had greater than a 15% move, or the opposite down here. We want those that had less than the 4% move on the week. So, or they're a minus, I mean. So down here. So it's lots of. Actually, I might add some more options to those, so we've got some positive versions of these. So again, by the time you see that next, that may be a little bit different as well, adding a few more options into that too. Weekly closing range, WCR, pretty much as it says. So it's the candle. So when you've got a weekly candle, so you've got your typical candle. So if it had this, then the top half here, that's 100%, that's 0%, so your mid-range 50%, so anything above 75% is this top half here, anything below down here, so that's the less than 25. So looking for closing the upper quarter is anything over 75%, so you can, as I said, there's some more options down here. Again, I may change the options on this by the time you look at it, but at the moment I generally use closing the upper quarter as a quality filter for a lot of mine personally. Right, next one, momentum. So this uses the Elder Impulse. At the moment we've only got these 3 options, but this week I'm adding the change options as well. So we'll be able to see when it's changed from neutral to positive, or from neutral or positive back to negative, etc. as well with that, which will be a helpful feature. So at the moment we just get the positive momentum. As I said, you'll be able to get those when it's changed from blue to green, for example, on the Elder Impulse bar on the weekly candle. Another one here is ATR%. So this just shows you the 10-week average ATR value for the stock. So if you want all stocks that have less than 10% movement, then you can use that, or less than 5% movement in the week, or you want those that have got huge movement, so over 20% a week, you start to get the ones that jump a lot more, so a lot more volatility. You've got a few other options through there. BOBD here is breakout and breakdown. As I said earlier in the video, this is going to have a lot more options soon. At the moment it's just based on the 13-week closing values, so this will be, we're going to have 4-week, 13-week, 26-week and 52-week, both closing and high-low values for those as well. So there's going to be a lot more options for breakouts in the coming weeks as well. And then the final row here currently is the 10-week moving average, the 40-week moving average, and then the distances to the various moving averages there. So with the 10-week moving average, you can just say either above or below, or the cross above. So when we're looking for stage 4 minus and stage 4B minus, for example, it's when the stock crosses above the 10-week moving average in stage 4. So for example, you can come here, say cross above the 10-week moving average, and we can say stage 4 minus or stage 4B minus, and then that gets you the stage changes on that week. So we'll click open a couple of these here. You'll see it moved through its 10-week moving average down here. Just, that was not a great example. So jumped up through its 10-week moving average. Get a couple more. Get a better example. So just moving through that 10-week moving average when it's still in stage 4. So that's what that can look for very easily. And we can do the same with the 40-week moving average. Over here we've got the cross above and below the 40-week moving average, and then these 3 here are the distances to the moving averages. So if you're looking for something that's getting tight to its 10-week moving average, so it's less than 2% below the moving average here. So again, click on a couple of these here, you can see it's just pulled back below the 10-week moving average here, just below the 10-week moving average and just below. Whereas you want those that are above. So again, still getting close in there. A couple of these, that one's a dead stock there, another dead one. So that's the problem with these tight measures in here, you're going to get some of the ones that might well be merger stocks as well. So, but you also get these kind of looks to those. So again, a merger type stock. So they're just sitting above the 10-week moving average. Do need to find a way to filter out the merger type stocks, as they do get in the way of some of those. But you can do the same thing with all of these filters here. So you, for example, we're looking for something that's 5% above its 10-week moving average, but it's still quite close to its 10-week, its 30-week moving average, etc., as well as the 40-week moving average. So then and then you can take that down even further and start to get your numbers down to lower numbers, and etc., and then the various other quality filters. So lots of ways that you can use those. So I will add some presets for those soon as a way of getting closer into the various moving averages. So those are the major filters at the moment. If we scroll down a little bit here to the next row, we've got a search column here where you can just type the symbol or the name. So AAPL, for example. So we've got Apple here, so you can just quickly type that. You can also type Apple and you will find it, all names with Apple in them. So you can see this one, Pineapple, Apple Hospitality, and Apple, if you do it that way. So sometimes you may, the direct ticker thing, it may get a few results, so you just need to look down, as it's looking for both the name and the symbol. So be specific with that and you'll get better results. If we look at the next button here, it's called columns. So what this does is add columns on the table here. So we've got some extra columns. So at the moment we've got sector, sub-industry by default, but if you want to see the industry as well, you can select that and then that will show on here. So you can add those and get rid of those. There's a few others not turned on at the moment, but for the most part I've got quite a lot of them turned on. And again, by the time you watch this video, there may well be another row here with some tabbed buttons, so where we can switch between the different column styles so that we don't have to scroll all the way along massively. I'm gonna add some presets so that the table can quickly jump between different types of values on here, so you don't just have this bit as the starting point. So next button, which I find incredibly useful, is the focus mode. So if you click on focus, it takes you into full screen mode, and then you can scroll through. It keeps the names at the top of all the columns, and you can look through everything in one big column. You can double click on anything. If you command click, you can do that on multiple columns. So, but you can get rid of any of those clicking out of it. And you can come out of that in exit mode or by using the escape key. So I find that really useful. On the middle here, just shows you the amount of stocks that are in the table currently. So 5360 at the moment. So as I said, any kind of presets, you'll see that value change. See, we're down to 30 of that. We're using that first preset there. And then final three buttons over here on the right, save list. So obviously you don't want to click that when it's on the massive list. It won't let you, because it only lets you save up to 1,000 stocks in a chart list. So it would fail if you did that, but you can save your results into a chart list and then save that for future. If you've got your portfolios, etc. You've got the export button so that you can copy and paste out. Again, this is the entire table at the moment, so huge list, which you wouldn't want. So, and then the reset button, which is key. You'll be clicking that quite a lot as you change your filters. So reset button is just over there. And then we scroll down, we have a 100 stock view as the default on this. So as I said, the focus mode is a way that you can get all of that in on screen as much as possible. Okay, next up, just wanted to 53 minutes here. So just wanted to quickly go through the other bits available on the site than the screener. So next column here is in the menu is relative strength. So if we come to the relative strength page, this is in order of the Mansfield relative strength here. You can do 1 week change. You can see which groups had the strongest move on the week. So, but when you click on any of these names, it opens up the side panel, shows you the chart of the group, and it shows you the stocks from the group in order of strength. Again, you can click through this and it will take you to the individual page with the breadth for that group on any of those, and you can jump over here between sub-industries, industries, groups or sectors. So that is really, really useful. Next one at the top here is market breadth. So we've got sub-industries, industries, groups, sectors, and the stages summary. I've already shown you the stages summary. The sub-industries brings up the bell curve. So this is an interactive chart. You see if you hover over it, shows you the percentage of stocks on a stage analysis technical attribute score of 6 or higher. So with that, you see they're based into 3 sections here. So you've got weak, where it's in the 0 to 40% range. We've got the 40 to 60% range, and then the 60 to 100% range is strong. So at the moment, as I'm doing this video, we've got 73% of the groups are in the weak range. If they've got less than 40% of the stocks on a SATA score of 6 or higher. So for example, if I click on semiconductors here, which has got 12.5% of stocks on a SATA score of 6 or higher, you can see it's just dipping down into stage 4 at the moment here. You can see all of these stocks, that's the 12.5% that have a SATA score of 6 or higher, whereas the rest of them you can see all have weak scores currently. So the bell curve gives you information based on where it is overall. So at the moment we're leaning heavily to the weak side. There's not very much that's strong, but as groups change weekly, they move up. So anything with uppercase text means it's had a positive net change on the week. So more stocks have moved to a score of 6 or higher than to below 6. So at the moment, last week, for example, industrial gases, multi-utilities, etc. had a positive week. You can see we had some movers through there. So that was +5, for example. This one was +2. So that moved from a 5 to a 7. So that was a change. That one was a change. They didn't, even though these were pluses, they were already above a 6. So these two were the net change for the week on this one. And that's why it had a positive week, because we didn't have stocks dropping below it as much. We did have one. So only one stock managed, 2 stocks moved above and 1 stock moved below. So there was a net +1 for the week on the group, as you can see, which is in either 2B minus potentially at the moment with that one, or 2B, I mean. So with this down here, you've got options to filter it by the sectors. So you just want to see consumer discretionary groups here, or you only want to see the tech groups and see how they're performing at the moment, which is the strongest areas, semiconductors being the weakest at the moment. So energy, for example, 100% of those are down in the weak zone at the moment, whereas if you look at utilities, got a bit more of a mix. Financials, you get more over in the mid and stronger zone there. So you can see where the strength lies in the market very, very quickly from this, and you can click into any of these. So if I click on this, it will open up the side panel as with on the relative strength pages. So you can quickly go through any of these, see the group charts, see what's going on in the individual groups. So really, really powerful feature. And then down the bottom here, we've got type. You can change this from SATA score to the 30-week moving average, which gives you a little bit of a different context. You can see we've still got 51.85% of the groups have less than 40% of their stocks above the 30-week moving averages, compared to the only 19.14% are strong. They have 60% or more above their 30-week moving average. So this is another way that you can look at it, and I'm going to be adding more variations to this, the 10-week moving average, and potentially the stage 2 as well. I think that would be a really useful way of looking at that data too. If you scroll down the page, you can see we've got the individual groups in order of strength. So as I said, at the moment, gas utilities is one of the leading areas here at the moment. So if we click on that, you can see obviously moving higher in late stage 2 there. So next up, let's stages summary already covered, but I'll just quickly click back into it again. It shows you the core total here is the See, there's 3,159 stocks, which covers all of these stocks up here, whereas the market total, 5,094, covers the entire table. So the core total excludes the micro cap stocks and the nano cap stocks. So that's the one I tend to use more when I'm looking at the actual data, as you tend to get, by default, in the nano cap and the micro cap stocks, a lot more stage 4 stocks as stocks that are just going out of the market and end up in the OTC market or disappear altogether. So it gets rid of around just under 2,000 stocks from the overall market to just focus on the more liquid stocks. And then finally, up here, top right, we've got the more section. So you've got a US ETFs page, which I'm not sure whether I'm going to keep it or not, as you can get the ETFs and more information in the screener itself. So if we come back to the screener here and go to the ETFs, you can see the ETFs here and all of the various information to do with them. So on here, whereas if you come to the page, you've only got the SATA score and the Mansfield relative strength. So it's useful, but this was the original page and I may not keep it as it's obviously in the screener now. Another one in here is the ETF summary. So this just gives us a snapshot view of what's going on in the market, the sectors, the commodities, the treasuries, and some of the theme ETFs, again, which may be updated by the time you look at this, potentially going to put the stages into these as well, into the snapshot view. And then the chart lists, as I said, when you load this page at the moment, you just get a heading. You just need to click on new list and add the stocks that you want, and then you can create your own watch lists, which you can then use within the screener, as I said before, in the chart list feature here. So again, precious metals, for example, here, click on that. Actually, I've still got it on ETFs, get rid of that. So you can see obviously your own various watch lists, and then you can use that to look for levels. So we're looking for the next stage 2 price, for example, in DRD. Then you can see currently it's at 11.11, which is only plus 0.99% to get there. So it's just sitting right underneath that at the moment. So you can use that to then set alerts in your other software, such as TradingView, to obviously be alerted when it moves through the stage 2 level. And then finally, back to the main page. So we've got when you first land, as I said, on the website, when you log in anytime, you will come to this page. Each week I do a members video, so on a Sunday, normally later on a Sunday. So for US users, generally it's going to be out by about 5 p.m. Eastern time at the latest usually. Sometimes it's a tiny bit later, but I generally have it done by then. Sometimes it's a little bit earlier, like it was this weekend, but that's generally the rough time it comes out on the weekend. And then this has an hour-long video each weekend that goes through the various points of the stage analysis method that we look at. So we have the watch list twice a week, actually 3 times a week, Tuesday and a Thursday, and generally on a Saturday or a Sunday. Don't always load depending on the market conditions. So you've noticed if you're watching this straight away at the moment in March 2025, then the last week we've been a bit lighter on the watch list posts because the market has been obviously in a terrible state for the last week. So generally only put them out when we're in a more neutral or a positive position, generally not when it's in a difficult environment status. We have the market breadth posts each week. I highlight different features that are being added, etc. This right hand column down here gives you some quick links to various bits, so you can jump directly to charts. As I showed before, you can just type in the ticker, go straight to the chart page. Come back out of that again, we've got a link to the screener, got a link to the ETFs page, but as I said, you can get the ETFs in the screener now. We've got the market breadth sections here. I haven't added the stages summary to that yet, need to do that. We've got the US market ETFs snapshot view here, so that takes you through to the summary view, and then the help section down here. So this will have changed. I'm just going to have this getting started video, how to use the screener, as a single one. Contact us gives you an email address if you want to say anything to me, and if you need to log out, you can click that button there. And then these are just a few custom lists, or if you want to search the blog, you want to go through back any of the older stuff down here. So that is basically everything at the moment. As I said, I think hopefully if you've got any questions, let me know. There's lots and lots going on with the Stage Analysis website. As I said, got multiple new features being added in the coming weeks from doing this video. So by the time you watch this video, it will have likely changed again. So, and doing some historical stage analysis stuff as well, where we can actually see the lengths of the stages and how the stock is traded, what its maximum gain was, what its maximum loss was, the pullbacks, etc. Lots and lots of stats that are going to be adding to the individual stock pages to do with stage analysis. So, and many other things coming in the coming months as well. So hopefully by the time you're watching this, then lots of those will have also been added. But I just thought it'd be useful to do this video today, as it had been about 9 months since I last did how to use the screener video, and it needed updating. So thanks for watching, guys. If you're not a member already and you want to try it out, then just get the monthly subscription and just give it a go and see what you think. So hopefully you like it. Anyway, thanks a lot, and I'll see you on the next one.